squad, Joe. Listen to this pod show. Worldwide, bro, you know how the vibe go. Facts and law, we give it to you real and raw. Facts and law, yeah, we give it to you real and raw. Real and raw, real and raw.
Yo, hey, yo, we back with another one. Facts and Law PodSHOW. Episode Trey Zero. We in this building, baby. Let's go.
Dig.
What's up, man?
What's up, Joe?
A long time coming.
I know, man. Feel like we've been off for a minute,
Yeah, man.
We have to take a little sabbatical.
Yeah, you looking suave over there, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate
Hey,
that.
man.
Good
Wipe
brother.
me down.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
See with
saying?
the fresh whites and all that. You
Right,
dig?
man,
You know what I'm
this-
saying?
This is nothing.
All right, man. What's happening, bro?
Shit.
30.
30.
30
Peace.
of them in.
30 piece spicy.
Look, I don't know if people realize it, but it's a lot of work. We've
Yeah.
been doing this for a minute now.
Yeah, let's shout out some people, man. The subscribers.
Okay.
People that's, taking the time out to support
Rock with your boys.
the Facts and Law PodSHOW. It costs you nothing to hit that, subscribe button, hit the like.
SLC.
They don't understand how much those likes, how much that means to us and what that does for us with the algorithm with YouTube. Like,
You can even dislike it.
you
You feel me?
I
Just
don't-
do something. You feel me? Shit.
But look, if y'all, your first time checking it out, just hit the subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Leave
Like,
a comment,
Share.
share.
All that.
What's good? I'm excited for today, man.
Hey, man, we got my partner, man. I'm my partner.
Yeah, he doing a lot of things in the city.
Hey, listen, it took me a while to realize, Joe, your IG handle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might check him out and be like, what's his name? Hey, my boy David Leonard. What's up, brother? Tell him, man. Tell
Hey,
him.
nice to meet you, brother.
That's what's his
Yes,
name.
sir.
They see him on this, they see him on that. And don't quite know that. That's what's his name. I like that, Joe. What's up, bro?
Man, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man, we glad you could come
30,
through.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. 30 for 30. Let's get it,
I
baby.
like that.
Yeah,
I
man.
like that. 30 for 30.
So when you go to your handle, tell people a little bit about what you do and why is that your handle?
Man, so I've always considered myself a jack of all trades.
Yes, sir.
I'm still trying to master a few things, but I do a lot of different things, man. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I work in film and television as a location scout and a location manager.
Mm-hmm.
I also do some podcasting myself.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of different lanes and a lot of different things that I dabble in. Do voiceover work.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, and it's always been like 6 degrees. Like there used to be this thing about 6 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon. So I like to say 6 degrees of separation with David Leonard.
I can
feel connected to a little bit of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like and I'm not always great with names myself.
Gotcha.
I can remember a face or maybe a time when I met somebody and be like, man, that's what's his name.
Yeah, that's what's his
so
name.
I kind of feel like people look at me that way as
Gotcha.
well. So that's where that kind of came from.
I like that, man, because that's why I never really thought about it until I think the other day I was looking for your page.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I was typing in Dave and it wasn't coming right up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, it's that, huh? I like that. That's what's his name. I like that, man. I like that, Joe. So
what is the handle?
That's what's his name.
That's what's his name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's straight up DAT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's his name.
You know what's funny? I think, man, I want to say I might have came up with that back around. I'm aging myself here. Might have been the Black Planet days or maybe on MySpace.
Yeah. Hey, listen, yo, I was getting it it on MySpace.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Listen, we don't talk about MySpace, man, because there was some things going down.
Oh,
on
snap.
MySpace.
Now we got to talk about it. This Facts and Law. Now we want to know.
MySpace.
Hey, tell me about
Man,
it.
listen.
What can you tell us? What can you tell us?
Now people talk about the DMs and all of that now with Instagram. Now MySpace, it was going down in the
Hey,
DMs.
listen, when I tell you,
Did you have a strategy?
listen, I'm gonna tell you, no, for real, no, yo, the MySpace days,
Yeah,
bro,
MySpace
listen,
days.
I was throwing parties off of MySpace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah, for
literally,
sure.
like like dancers, you know what I'm saying, to come to the city and all off MySpace. We was getting it coming from state to state, you know what I'm saying?
How they just fade out like that?
Hey, you know, something new and easier came along. You know, one thing about MySpace, if y'all remember, it was teaching us how to code.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about we was in there coding. I don't remember none of it now. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm talking about you had your music and your pictures and shit.
All that. You had a backdrop. You had a backdrop and everything.
All that. I'm telling you. Hey, I wish I could find my old page, man. The pictures, you know what I'm saying?
And then you had your top 5 or
top 5. Your friends, people used to be mad if you wasn't in their friends list. Yeah. Who is this friend? I don't know. That's wild though.
Yeah, those were MySpace.
Back in the days when I was young.
Yeah. Oh, since you saying that back in the days, man, let's talk about your childhood, bro. Like,
man.
Yeah, man. What side of the city you from?
Yeah. So I was a suburban kid. I grew up in Harvey, Illinois.
Okay, Southside.
Shout out to Harvey World.
You did.
Yeah, man. I was running wild and crazy out there. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My mom was very heavy into theater and writing, so I grew up in the arts, from the jump. And then they later on, my mom and dad started their own antique business. So I kind of watched them, do the entrepreneur thing too. But my mom was like very successful with her writing. So that kind of inspired me to kind of like, follow her path a little bit and get into the entertainment side of things. And, I was really shy as a kid, so I didn't really...
Word? You was shy?
I was very shy.
Yeah.
And so she used to try to get me into acting as a kid. I would go on auditions and stuff for movies, and McDonald's commercials. Mm-hmm. But I would always get nervous and stuff when I was there. But
freeze up?
I would freeze up, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to my first couple of auditions was for McDonald's. And then Jello Pudding Pops.
Jello Pudding.
I remember auditioning for this movie. It was this Richard Pryor movie called JoJo Dancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had auditioned for the role of him as a kid, but I went in there and I was like, for some reason I was afraid to cuss or whatever that the script called for. So it used to be little things like that. But as I got older, I started breaking out of my shell more, and what got me out of the shell was music.
Okay.
So hip hop was a big influence on me. I got introduced by one of my guys to Eric B. and Rakim's music.
Yeah.
And when I heard them, I was already listening to Run DMC, Fat Boys, and all that. But Rakim was
the God MC.
Man, he was the one that made me want to start actually writing. So did that, was battling in the lunchroom, doing that whole thing.
What high school you went to?
I went to Thornridge.
Okay, shout out Thornridge. I know some people that went there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We had Selena Johnson, D. Ray Davis, there's a few alumni. But we used to battle in the lunchroom, and then I met with my partner Zell. We formed a group and started making music. So that was kind of like my start.
What was the name of the group?
It was called Code FI. So,
Code FI.
Yeah. It was a couple of dope MCs. We spelled it MCs EMCEES. Finally in it. And I think it started off because we tried to be in a singing group. Neither one of us could sing. So we branched off and started doing the rap thing.
Who try and get in a singing group and can't sing? Hey, listen. I can just do background vocals or something.
Well, it was all about the girls at that time. Like literally, that was our only motivation for wanting to sing.
And what years was this?
Man, I was there 90. I graduated in 93, so it was 89, 93 when I was in.
Got my boy dating himself. Look at him. You see what he did there? He tricked me. You did? Hey.
Don't look my age though.
No, I wouldn't never thought.
When I found out his age, about a couple weeks ago, about a week ago, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Black don't crack, man.
Black don't crack, man. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Hey, you remember a rhyme, man? You want to split? Go, let's spit something.
Man.
Oh, he did it.
Let me see. I don't know if I can remember my old stuff, but I did something recently. A couple of years ago, we did a tribute film to one of my producer friends who passed away. And so we did this whole music video and rap in there. Let me see if I can remember some of the bars.
Go for it.
let's see, battle rapping, capping, immaculate, vocal acrobats, Amber Crosby fitching, these bitches stitching with cataracts. Fact of the matter of fact, the track and acts, crinac, the hard white hit you with a left and a renite. My militant rhyme flow is infinite, separate the verbs like a vertebrae and ligaments. It's infinite, indicative of a squad that's infamous. Limitless rhyme from beyond the art premises, swept through the blood. That's all I got.
Hey, it's all right. Hey, listen. Hey, you thought you was gonna put him on the spot. He got bars, nigga. He like, I got you. Hey, give me 2 seconds. I got something. Come on, man. Stop. Hey, look. Listen. Being able to just pull it out your hat, you see how much different it is from you having that shell that you didn't come out of. You know what I'm saying? And being able to do something, I say essentially on the fly. It's kind of how we met.
Yep.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm going to go into that. You know what I'm saying? So tell me, how did you end up at this? We'll tell y'all what happened, but how did you end up at that event? And I'll tell you how we ended up, and then we end up working together.
Man, so that was the AT&T Create-a-thon. Event that we met at. I'm trying to remember. I feel like almost I was like accompanying somebody, and then it was like, yo, you should get down on this. Because I can't remember, it was shout out to my boy Malcolm Banks.
Shout out Malcolm.
I think I might have been going with him or whatever, and then we just decided to get down, and they put us up in these groups. So it was almost like creative speed dating, if you will.
Definitely, and, exactly. And you know what? That's the perfect way to put it, because I never thought about it. And what's funny is me, Shantae, you know what I'm saying? This is in the thick of us making Mr. Modern, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we edited and this, that, and the other, and shout out Celeste Burton. She hit us up like, y'all still going, right? Because she had told us about it months ago, right? You know what I'm saying? And we like, we'll do it. Then that day came and we both, it was like the Friday night before, right? Yep. And we like, man, we don't want to go. and we like, nah, we ain't going to go, right? That next morning we wake up like, let's just go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? I called, I was like, cuz, you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah. So we went. So like he said, it's like speed dating. You know what I'm saying? But creatives. Yeah. They put us in this big room. They had food and all that, like catered. And it's like just a bunch of people. And they come, I believe somebody went up to the front and was like, all right, we have directors, writers, actors, videographers all in this room. What was it? Walk around, meet each other, talk, build groups, and see what y'all can come up with. You have to shoot. First, you have to come up with the script, write it, decide who's going to do what, have it shot that Saturday and ready to be shown by Sunday. Yep. You know what I'm saying? A short. Yep. And we started from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we walked around the room, and somehow our whole team ended up being black folks, right? Yeah. But listen, and we were like literally the only all-black team, if I remember correctly. You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure. And you want to go from there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We came up with this concept called flat
round or flat, baby. Round or flat.
And we did a short film together, and it was a great process, man. It just went to show how when you don't limit yourself and you get a bunch of strangers together and come up with an idea how you can execute. And then we were just kind of like, I don't even think we were in it necessarily for the competition of it. It was just like, yo, this sounds like a cool.
Yeah, it was something let's see what we could come up with.
You say round or flat?
Round or flat.
Or
round
flat.
or flat.
Yeah.
So, and
what's
it was
the concept? What's the concept?
So the concept, it was something that we were brainstorming around the table, and I had this idea of how I wanted to write another film, and I wanted to open up kind of like this, right? And so I'm like, let's, I just see these two guys, you know what I mean, having a conversation about who knows what. You know what I'm saying? Like just one of those, and I'd go ahead and throw Tarantino a shout. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives you those kind of vibes, because it was like, these two brothers talking about everyday whatever conversation, but in that time frame, it's stuff going on that you don't even realize, right? Yeah. And then we had to incorporate all these other people. This is a scene that at one point in my head was just two people, that's it. But then we had to incorporate other actors And we made it work. You know what I'm saying? It's a good. Hey, you can go check it out on YouTube, Round or Flat.
Oh, it's still on YouTube?
Yeah, man. It's on my page. Yeah, Round or Flat, man. Listen, people like that joint, man. And it's crazy because I argue with. Shout out my cousin Cliff, JP, and my nephew PJ. I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. I have 3 flat earthers that I argue with daily.
Wow.
Yeah, flat earthers.
I can't argue with no.
Hey, listen,
flat earth.
listen.
It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even want. It don't make sense to me.
But yeah, man, and we came up with it. And listen, the process. Let's talk about the process, right? So we go and that Saturday morning we all meet up. You know what I'm saying? We meet up in Hyde Park we sit down, go over the last minute like script or whatever. You know what we were gonna do, where we were gonna shoot it, what was the next steps. We meet for lunch in the promontory, right? So we meet, we all sitting down, going through everything, and we all right, let's go. Team ready, go. Let's go film. Walk outside, and your boy got a boot. You know what I mean, right? And your boy had a boot on the whip. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it. We go and shoot the first scene anyway, you know what I'm saying? We get those scenes out the way, and I'm like, I got till this time to get this joint off. You know what I'm saying? So took me to go pay them, get my shit off. Yeah. And we came back and finished the rest. You know what I'm saying? Paying them, they finished the last scene, and the shit was amazing, dog. Yeah. And we end up.
And we ended up placing 3rd place.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it was and that was out of like what 12, 13 films or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we end up placing 3rd. You know what I'm saying? And could have been a little. You know, we could have took first. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? We still won.
Do y'all feel like those the other 2 films was better than y'all's? Like,
I wouldn't. They were different.
Just different.
Yeah, they were different. Yeah. I would say they were different. Ours, I think, was a surprise to people because the whole time when you watching it, where's this going? Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, that happened. You know what I'm saying? Before you realize it, you know, it happened. Something happened. So you know what I'm saying? I like it. I don't want to give it away, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all go check out Round the Flat. You know what I'm saying? The name of Round the Flat is because these 2 brothers are having this conversation, discussing if the earth is round or flat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it's pretty cool, man. I like it. You know what I'm saying? We did great. Y'all did great because I had to leave for about an hour and all that, and I was just like, sorry, I gotta go, but it was Saturday. Yeah. That means it's gonna be sitting there, then they'll come get that boy.
Monday, Tuesday.
You know what I'm saying? They only give you what, 2 days?
Yeah, it's similar to the 48-hour film festival, but the difference is I think with the 48-hour film festival they actually give you like a genre that you have to, so like they'll say, all right, you guys have to create a horror film, you got to do a comedy, you got to do drama.
This was just free ball, just straight. Hey, what you got? You know what I'm saying? So I remember that 1, 2 it was like I think it was done well. Remember the train station joint? And they were across there, and it was like a love story type.
They got
deal.
First, right?
I think they may have got first. You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember the other one.
No, I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it was some cartoons in there.
Oh, wow.
I think it was it some animation in there too? You don't remember? Tay, like, I was there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you have no, like, listen, we were editing it and it was rendering forever. Right. You know what I'm saying? It took forever to render it, but we got it done. It was fun, man. It was fun. We wanted gift cards or something, and we all went out for drinks after that.
Yeah. It was
hey, those pictures came up the other day because on my TV, you know, I have like your Amazon photos.
Oh, yeah.
Come up, and that joint came up the other day. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, dope. You know what I'm saying?
What was the like your first film? Like, when you say you've been doing this since you was a kid. What was the first project?
Yeah, so I got back into acting as I got older, like, you know, starting in like my 20s. And so I want to say the first film I think that I did was it's a brother named Mark Harris who
we know Mark Harris.
Yeah, you know Mark. He did a horror movie called Holla If You Hear Me. It's actually on Tubi now, but it's called, they changed the title. It's called
like
Holla.
They did mine.
Yeah.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Mr. Mata?
It's Who is Mr. Mata?
Really?
And I was like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, it says Who is Mr. Mata. So if y'all looking for it, y'all can type up Mr. Mata, it'll come up. But the title is Who is Mr. Mata with some artwork that I've never used. Because it's not, if you watch it, Mr. Mata is not one person. That's 2 people. You dig what I'm saying? It's Mr. and Mata. But
I wonder how they come up with those marketing decisions.
I don't know if it has something to do with ownership.
Okay, yeah, because I would say in the case of Holla If You Hear Me, maybe there was some stuff with Tupac or whatever that went on with that, but the title that they changed it to, I was like,
what is it now?
Now it's called Holla If I Kill You. So I was like, and they couldn't just call it Holla because there's another horror movie called Holla. But that was probably my first role in a movie that I had, and God, it was years ago. And I won't give away the ending of that, but I play a very intricate role in that one.
Dope.
That was my first foray into
in front of the screen.
Yeah.
So here's my thing: people don't realize, and a lot of people watching don't realize, it's so much. There's so many other things that you can do in the business to get a job. You don't have to always be in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, how did you get not only from in front of the camera, but you also behind the scenes?
Yeah,
that's something that I've been interested in forever. Because what I want, things I want. So like, how did you end up in that space?
Yeah, so my journey's kind of crazy because I started in film and television back in '98. I started as a security guard.
Gotcha.
I can't secure nothing, but
right.
they obviously hired me for that. So there used to be a warehouse over by McCormick Place. They've since knocked it down, and now the Marriott Marquis is there. Mm-hmm. But that was one of the first sound stages in Chicago that was being used, and I worked on a movie called Stir of Echoes with Kevin.
I know that.
Baker.
Oh yeah, that's a good one here in the city.
Yeah.
So what did you do on that one?
So initially, I started out doing security. I was the guy opening and locking up the sound stage every night. And then the production manager came to me and was like, "Hey, are you interested in working on set?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he was like, "All right, I got a job for you." So he made me the propane guy.
Okay.
So basically, I would be the guy who would roll around these propane heaters whenever we shoot on location, and we'd be out in the cold. I'd be the guy to, light them up and to get them refilled. Move them to wherever the video village was or where the actors were. Mm-hmm. Make sure everybody was staying warm. Now that's a union job that special effects does. But that was my first job, and then towards the end of the film, he worked me in as a set production assistant. That's the people who go around and call off the director's shots and get breakfast for the cast and make sure they locking up the streets when we're filming action sequences and stuff like that. So I started doing that, and then that at the time, Chicago had one studio that was here, which was Chicago Studio City.
Which one is that? On West Side? Roosevelt?
Roosevelt Central.
Yeah, by my land.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one is by Ogden?
That's CineSpace.
That's the big one. That's the new money. You know what I'm saying? That's the new money.
So at the time, Chicago Studio City was like the studio, and so maybe like one or two shows would come here and there. So after Stir of Echoes, I did a movie called Light It Up, and then I worked on a TV show called Early Edition, and I started like kind of building my relationships and resume, doing that, and then things kind of dried up, and you were only getting like commercials here, and like once in a while you get a big movie or show, but it wasn't consistent. So at that time, I had transitioned over to the music business, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I worked in the music business for many years, and then I came back to film and television in 2010.
Okay. And
my first show back was a reality show that Oprah Winfrey was doing to launch the OWN network. It was Oprah Behind the Scenes, season 25. And we basically followed around Oprah and her staff over at Harpo for that final season of the Oprah Winfrey Show. So we got to watch how they put the shows together, how they sit down in the meetings and plan everything. It initially started off kind of like a Housewives of Harpo show, like we follow everybody at their homes and stuff. But people were more interested in seeing how the show ran. Yeah. So that was what we kind of followed, and that's what the show became.
So do you got some crazy stories from any of the stuff you've already told us? What's something out of that time frame? Because I know how it is on set.
Yeah.
You gotta have something crazy, something that you would, anything surprising, any cross paths with any actors that were assholes or nice people or anything in between.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely over the years have gotten that. I mean, I think in the early years, I was like just kind of learning my way around the business or whatever. So like, I would say initially, one of the early things I remember that I laugh about it now. At the time, I thought it was kind of like weird. But Sarah Gilbert, who plays Darlene on the Roseanne show.
Yeah.
She was in the movie Light It Up, and as a PA, we used to have to get them breakfast, get the actors breakfast and stuff. And I remember she had ordered like some, I think it was like cottage cheese and fruit or something. And so I went and got it, and I brought it to her in the hair and makeup trailer, and she had her hair dyed red in the movie, and so she was like sitting back in her chair, and I brought her her breakfast, and she was like, "Oh no, I don't want that. Take that back. I don't like my peaches touching my cottage cheese or whatever." And so I'm just standing there,
like really,
and like
right.
really just wanting to take
right, just like,
but, I was new in the business. I was young or whatever. So, but I mean, like the rest of the shoot, she was cool. But it was like that
one thing was weird, like.
Yeah. But yeah, no, man. I saw all kind of crazy things. I remember when we were shooting that movie. Usher was the lead actor. Rosario Dawson in there, Fredro Starr, and Robert Richard, and Forrest Whitaker. And so we were filming at Calumet Career Academy on 83rd and May, I think.
Was that a love story joint?
No, it was about a
Which
bunch of kids who take over a high school. They lock it down.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember now. Okay,
It was crazy at the time. That's when Columbine happened.
Oh,
so it was all this controversy about the movie being made or whatever, and it was produced by Babyface and at the time his wife Tracy. And so I just remember walking around seeing them. Oh, I do have a funny story.
Gotcha. Let's go.
I got a funny story.
Yeah.
So my first day of working on that one, I was. So I had interviewed for the job 3 times before I actually got it. And so when I started...
And this is the PA, right?
Yeah, this is the PA. So one of my boys ended up leaving, and I ended up taking his place. And so my first full day on the show, I'm standing, we were in the hallway filming, and they were shooting a library scene. So Rosario Dawson walks out, and I'm like...
Right.
Wow, okay,
Right.
So she notices that I'm, new and, had never, seen me before. And she was like, hey, what's your name? And I was like, David. She was like, David, you mind walking me to my trailer? So, one thing when you're one thing when you're a production assistant, anytime one of the talent, walks away, you got to announce it. Such and such is... step into the trailer, or if they're going to the bathroom, we use 10-1. They're going 10-1, so that if they're
looking for them,
set,
you know what's what, right?
Yeah. So the director's not freaking out, and you're losing time or whatever. I didn't know this, so I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll walk you to the trailer. So she grabs me by my arm. We walk out. Now the trailers are way across the field in the school parking lot. So we walk in, she's talking to me, asking me all these questions, and giving me the googly eyes. Mind you, she's just like messing with my head. But
she saw you looking like she's like, let me, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So I'm like, oh wow, what's going on here? So we cross the field and make small talk or whatever. And when we get to her trailer, she's walking up. And she's like still holding my hand at the time. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Right. And so she opens the door, and when she opens the door, I look and I see it's a guy sitting in there on his cell phone. It was Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh.
She
shit.
He like leans forward to kind of look and see like who's
what's
this
up?
dude?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like he was in town, I think at the time, Tribe Called Quest had a show at House of Blues or something. And so I get to the top of the stairs and Rosario's like, "Thank you for walking me," and closes the door.
Right.
And I'm just standing there looking like an idiot.
Like, well.
And meanwhile, they calling me on the walkie, like yelling, like
where is she?
Right. Like they were looking for me, they were looking for her, and so I got in trouble when I got back. But,
I mean, but she told you got to do what the talent asks, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But you should have announced it like, I'm walking Rosario to her trailer.
Right.
That's what's up.
But no, she was super cool. Her, I got real cool with her and her mom, and Usher and his mom during that time. And so
that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Anybody that wasn't cool?
Yeah, I mean, I've run into so I've had some interesting experiences, both in film and music.
Okay.
One of my more interesting, I'll say, interactions with the celebrity was with Busta Rhymes.
Okay, I've heard. I've heard some things.
Yeah. Man, I love him as an artist, and still respect him as a legend. But yeah, we had some interesting run-ins. I got screamed on many a time.
Many? What was in what capacity? What were you doing?
In the short time I was with him. But, yeah, he's just he's an interesting cat, man. Like he the things you probably seen or heard, like it's real passionate, but flip mode is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I've heard he snap on people like look. Busta. You know what I'm saying? Listen.
Busta.
Yeah.
How was Oprah?
Oprah was mad cool, man.
Yeah.
That was an interesting show because that was the first time I had done reality television, which is completely different from scripted, even though reality is scripted. Right? But it's a lot more on the go. Sometimes they'll just have kind of an outline of what they want to do, but you kind of sometimes have to find or chase the story. So like the executive producers, one of the executive producers on this show was he was a young up and coming producer at the time, but Carlos King, who now produces all of the Housewives shows, Married in Huntsville, Alabama, all those shows. He's like a super reality show producer now. But he was just coming up at that time, and I got to watch them see how they put together the shows. And like a lot of times they would try to look for what the storyline was, or like who to follow. So there might be some days we show up to set and we might just be sitting around for hours waiting for something big to happen. Yeah. And so then once that story happens, then we
got
take off.
Follow,
yeah,
right?
Damn, that's how it is.
Yeah, so it was.
They write the moments now, though.
Yeah, exactly. And they did back then too, but it was like, sometimes I remember there was a story we followed where Jennifer Hudson was shooting. She was supposed to be doing an Oprah Winfrey show, and she left, I think the day before, to go do some appearance in Texas, but she didn't tell anybody from the Oprah show. And like a bad snowstorm happened, and she got stuck. And so that next day we were following, like all her family and everybody was coming out to see her, and so like we were following all that interaction. And then Oprah was like, getting lightweight upset because the show was being like mad delayed or whatever. So we kind of like followed that storyline, and it was real interesting. Everything finally ended up coming together, but it was just really cool to watch those moments and those things happen.
Now, I know you work on certain shows. What are some of the projects you're working on now?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on Southside season 3. Southside.
Hey, I like that joint, man. I love that show.
The show is hilarious.
And it's dope to see when you see a show that was first on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get renewed on Comedy Central. And then HBO picks it up.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
No, those guys are killing it, man. This is my first time working on Southside. But,
okay.
The executive producers and creators, Bashir Saladin and Diallo Riddle. Like those guys, they have Southside, and they got Sherman Showcase, which they also do, and then they have. I just read they got a new project with Marlon Wayans that they got coming out. But what I like about the show too is it's very family oriented, meaning that all of their family members are like involved in some capacity, whether they're acting on the show or writing. It's very, much like the Wayans, you know what I'm saying? Like they keep it in the family, so that's dope.
That's what's up, man. I'm telling you, I love that show.
Yeah.
And it's one of the shows that I think does embody the city a bit more than some others. You know what I mean? You have some that are hit and miss or some parts, but not everything you don't really feel. I feel like Southside, that show really kind of captured the city. You know what I'm saying? Some of the fun and different things that's going on in the city.
Absolutely.
That's my joint. You know what I'm saying? You worked on, you didn't work on Forest yet, right?
I know. I've never worked on Forest. From a location standpoint, so I got my start doing locations in 2011 on an indie film called Warren. A production supervisor I worked with on a show called Boss.
Boss with Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, God, I love that show.
Yeah.
I love that show. I'm so mad it got
They canceled that shit, man.
But she was producing an indie film called Warren, and she needed a location manager. And I was kind of like third in line for that, but she was like, hey Dave, I know you can do this. I'm confident in you. And I was like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right, he was like, I can do it.
What I was doing. Yeah, sure.
When you lie on your resume?
Right. The hustle.
So, I jumped in the fire, made every single mistake you can make without getting fired.
Give me what's a location manager like? What do you actually do? What's your day-to-day like? And what are some of the mistakes that you made?
Yeah, so a location manager basically is the liaison between a production crew and the communities that you film in. And so you basically help coordinate all the logistical things for the shoot. So locations is key, it's very intricate, because without the location,
you can't shoot nowhere.
You can't shoot nowhere.
Do you find the locations?
Yeah, so I mostly scout. Sometimes I'll assist the location manager and occasionally location manage. But you do everything from hiring the security to putting in the permits. You hire the police. You order the heat and AC
What's gonna be
for the
needed.
places. You will get agreements for camera placements, lighting placements. You have to deal with irate neighbors, residents. You have to deal with irate businesses. You are basically a firefighter. You got to put out all the fires. You got to, it can be a very stressful job because things constantly change, and you got to be able to adapt.
I wish I had a location manager. On an indie film, you the location manager, the scout manager, you do all of it. Hey man, I love it.
But common mistakes. You make them all the time. You just gotta, learn from them and keep moving. But I remember going back to that first experience, like literally on one of the first days, I had permitted a street. We were filming up in a high rise, and so we needed parking for production vehicles.
Right.
So I permitted one side of the street, and then I think another like adjacent street, but I didn't permit the other side,
the opposite side of the street.
And I think somehow, some way, I told people to park on that other side too. We had literally about 3 cars get towed, and at least 6 parking tickets.
So what budget did that come out of?
It had to come out the overall budget. The production supervisor was not happy, but it was or the EP, I should say. She was not happy, but and I was just like, oh my god, like so that was.
Hey, but you didn't do it again.
Didn't do it again.
Right.
I learned from it. I remember another time I had parked. This is when I was working on the show Empire. I had allowed our catering truck to park in front of a restaurant, and the only reason why I did it was because I was told that the restaurant wasn't open until like 11 or whatever, and so I knew that we were going to be gone by then. Right? But one of the general managers showed up, and this is a very well-known, popular restaurant, and the guy who owns it, very powerful guy.
What's the?
I can't say.
Can't divulge that.
Yeah,
Can you just say the street that it was on? Was it on Wells and Superior, that area?
It was in the River North area.
Yeah, I know. I was listen. So my old job was right there.
Yeah.
Was it around where they where Cookie? listen, where Cookie's crib was at? That apartment?
No.
Okay.
No, that was South Loop. But no, so I parked. I told them they could park there, and next thing I know, I'm on set and I get a call. Hey, locations, can you come over here? There's a guy over here who's yelling at catering and going off. So I go over and talk to the guy, and he seemed pretty reasonable, and I was like, sir, I apologize. They'll be out of here, about in just about an hour. But by the time you guys get ready to start opening, we'll be completely out of your way. He was like, all right, that's fine. Thought everything was good. Walked away. I was like, okay, handled that pretty well. By the time I got back to set, locations, can you come over here? There's a guy over here, irate. And
he was flipping out?
This was his boss.
Oh, okay.
So his boss showed up.
Oh, that's different.
And fortunately, my boss happened to show up because he never came to set. So as a location manager, typically you don't really have to be on set because you hire assistant location managers and assistants to basically
deal with it.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
So if the manager actually has to come to set, typically that means something's wrong, something happened, or it's a very, very sensitive location.
Gotcha.
And they just want to kind of be there to oversee.
Make sure it goes smooth.
Yeah. So, but my manager just happened to show up. He wasn't showing up for any other reason, just to check in. And I was so glad he did because he heard what was going on, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll walk over there with you." And so we we went over there, and this guy was literally yelling in my boss's face, and so then they started going back and forth, and it caused a huge thing. I thought
no, you was done. He was
let's
pack this up, right?
Because like I said, it was a powerful guy.
Yeah.
So he basically was able to get our permit for the next day because we were supposed to be shooting in that same area. He got our permit shut down for the next day.
Damn.
So I was like, I'm fired.
Right, right. Well, let me get the looking.
Right. But they didn't,
So so if he got the permit canceled, basically, what did they do?
So basically, all of our permits come through the film office, through the local Chicago film office. So, and the Chicago film office has to deal with all of the aldermen in the city.
Right.
So, they deal with all the complaints, any issues that arise as a result of our filming, they come to us and then say, fix it. You know what I mean? And then if we don't fix it, then, that alderman or, the residents or whatever, they can cause enough, ruckus where, they'd be like, hey, look, you left our hands tied. We gotta give them what they want.
Right.
We gotta give them blood. So, those are the type of battles that you have to deal with as a location manager.
This is the stuff people don't know.
People don't have a clue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I never had a clue about this.
Listen, I know just doing it on a micro budget level and having to do everything yourself, we guerrilla styled it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's and you still deal with that kind of stuff. It's hard to make like I hear stories about you ever watch, y'all check out The Crew Has It. It's the podcast that Tariq and Brayton, which is Michael Rainey and
I forgot
Giovanni
I forgot his name.
Polo, I think I might be messing it up. Gianni, something like that. So they have one and they interview people from the show, people from the crew, and they talk about that sort of thing, how, locations, you have people that will deliberately turn on loud music while you're trying to film because they pissed off and trying to shut down your scene and just give you a hard time.
Or some people have gotten hip and they know how to get some dollars too, so they'll.
So
what you mean by that?
Well, that's another tactic too that people will try to say hey, I'm not gonna move or leave or turn this down unless you
Pay
guys
me.
pay me.
Payola, baby.
I'm
So
saying
it's-
that you ever, well, not you, but anybody you had to.
Try to pull that on you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does
Plenty-
it work?
plenty of time. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time. It's listen. I get it. People see all the big trucks and all
They see the money. They like, oh,
celebrities. and
somebody got
dollar
some money.
signs. But
Yeah,
just like
for
any
sure.
other company or business, we have a budget too. You know what I
Right.
mean? We don't. We're not just out handing out dollars. Now we do like productions do like to support the community in any way possible, and we do like to spread the money around so that
It draws money to, and people want that type of energy around us.
Exactly, and it's we support the churches and the community centers, and I know like even when I was working on the Shy, I know one thing we would always do is we would buy a bunch of book bags to donate to the kids with different organizations. So it's definitely not just about us coming in and just
Getting what you got.
invading-
Yeah.
invading everybody's space. We want to make it we want to be respectful and see how the community can be involved too. We also like to have some of the community be extras, and that's
Real
another
deal.
way to,
Real deal. Give back, and people,
Yeah.
they love to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I love seeing it. I want to be a fly on the wall every set I can. You know what I mean? You had a question, Cuz?
Yeah, quick question. So how do you guys, like going into people's houses, how do you determine what homes you're going to use and things like that?
It's a great question. So the way we go about scouting for locations such as homes is various sources. One way is we get a leaflet from the Illinois Film Office that we will go and leaflet different neighborhoods. So if we're looking for, I'll break down how we go about looking for stuff from the start. So what happens is we get a script or an outline from the location manager, who gets it from the directors and the writers and production managers, and then we'll break down that script. Or the location manager will break down that script. So they'll create a chart and say, okay, these are the locations we're looking for. So we'll have locations that we call anchor locations. So those are the main locations that we'll film around and schedule things around. So like if there's a house that we're going to shoot at, but we need a park that we also need to film at, or we need the exterior of a police station or something. So that house might be the anchor location, but now we as scouts have to go find a park that's near that house, or an exterior police station that's near that house. So for the houses, one way, like I said, we'll do is leaflet, has our contact information on there. If people are interested in having their place considered, they'll call us, and then we'll set up an appointment to go take photos of their place. Once we do that, we show those photos to the manager, the production designer, who then shows them to the director. The production designer is usually like the eyes for the director, and then the director will kind of see what they like and don't like, and then they'll say, okay, I want to go see this. Let's go look at this location. Let's go look at this. So then the manager will reach out to the scouts and say, okay, here's what we want to see. Then we contact those properties and say, hey, we'd like to come by and see your place tomorrow at this time. Are you available, or can somebody be there to, show us the place? Then we'll make an itinerary. We'll go see those places. The director will say yay or nay to them. And then once we, we'll do that for a few days. And then once we get all the locations selected, then the next step is to do a tech scout. Tech scout is when all of the department heads, your grips, your electricians, locations,
See how they
props,
can get everything in there. Yeah.
Yep, they do a walkthrough. We come out on a bus. It's about 20, 25 of us. We do another walkthrough. The director walks us through how each of the scenes will play out. Okay, we're going to have an actor come through the door. They're going to stop over here at this kitchen island. Then they're going to go over to the window while the director's walking us through all these scenes. everybody's taking notes and figuring out what logistical needs they're gonna need for this scene. Okay, we're gonna need to put some lights, attach them to the ceiling. Art departments, like, hey, we're gonna need to paint that wall over there. Let's bring in a couch. Let's add some window treatments to the windows. So we gather all these notes. All those notes come to locations, and then we put everything, together.
So listen, y'all. He just named about 25 jobs, right?
Yeah.
And nobody in front of the camera. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, how would you advise people that didn't know about this but are interested? How would you advise them to get into something like that?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. The easiest way to get involved, and of course with anything, you have to know somebody to get your foot in the door. But any assistant position, production assistant, camera assistant, wardrobe assistant, those are non-union jobs that you can kind of get your foot in the door. What typically happens is usually the second assistant director, sometimes the second assistant director will be the one who will hire production assistants for set.
Gotcha.
Or you can get in as an office PA. Office production assistant. They work in the office. They'll run errands. They get lunch. They make copies of scripts. Make copies of call sheets. Any clerical needs that are needed around the office. That's what an office production assistant does. Set production assistant. They help call out the shots. What I mentioned earlier. They lock up the streets. You have people that deal with the background extras.
Yeah.
Getting one of the easiest ways to get on set and to network is to be a background extra. Even though they kind of tell you, okay, don't talk to anybody, don't talk to any, especially don't talk to the actors. But as long as you're respectful and not all up in everybody's face or whatever, I encourage people, try being a background extra so you can at least, get your foot in the door, see how things work, and then network with a few people.
Yeah.
So what happens is, the assistant directors will have their core group of people that they usually call, but then sometimes on big days where they need a lot of people to lock up streets and stuff like that, they'll ask their folks, hey, do you know anybody that wants? I remember I worked on a Bollywood movie called Doom 3, and that was a really, really crazy action movie. If you ever watch it, it's like Doom 3.
Doom 3.
Doom 3.
And it's a Bollywood movie.
It's a Bollywood movie, so it's like the Hindi version of Bad Boys.
Listen, I don't know if any of y'all have seen Bollywood action films.
Yeah.
It's completely different than what we do.
Yeah.
They do some of the craziest stuff, like crazy.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah, stunts is insane, and they'll break out to a musical number.
Yeah.
I worked on that movie, and there was one day, they used to do some of the craziest.
It was shot here?
It was shot here. The whole movie was shot here. And the guy who started in Amir Khan is like God over here. Like literally every day, people from all over the country would stand outside with their kids.
Just to see him, right?
Just to see him. But the stunts were so crazy that they needed a ton of production assistants to lock up the streets. So literally, one day they went into background holding where all the extras were, and they said, hey, would any of you be interested in being a production assistant? We need a lot of help. And they got at least 30 of them that came out the next day. And it was so funny because a lot of them had never worked on set before. So when you come to set, you come in you don't come dressed up. You know what I'm saying?
Some of them were out there and
it was literally some ladies out there in heels standing out on a corner trying to lock up a corner telling people you can't go here.
Right.
And it's so it was so funny. But some of those people ended up getting their first opportunity, which turned into bigger
They caught the bug, and now they
on
behind the scenes on every set just about.
Exactly. So, I say, getting in as a background extra is probably the easiest.
And I got to get myself on some sets, man. I got to get me I told you I got some goals, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to get myself. I got a couple episodes to direct the Power Force. You know what I'm saying? Green Light Gang 50. Power. I say it all the time. Indeed. I'm coming. I'm telling you.
So what route would you take to do that? How would you do that?
trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I think
you wouldn't be able like to send them anything or.
One recommendation I would have is, I think they have, if I'm not mistaken, because I know they usually have them for writers. Because my mom years ago had went through a program, but they have like different fellowship programs or director training programs that you can go through. I know the Directors Guild I think offers one, but I think there's different programs, and I want to say Lena Waite's company has one too, Hillman Grad.
Okay.
That you can apply, and it's basically like Directors Boot Camp. And what ends up happening is after you complete that, you are able to get jobs on some of the shows that that the company produces. Or another way to do it is you can shadow directors.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I think will be my easiest.
Yeah.
route.
So basically, as a shadow, because I've seen actors do it, I've seen location managers do it, but literally, it's you know, if you have some type of relationship with a director, you say, hey, I would love to shadow you for one day, and if that director's cool and allows you to come on set. You get to follow them. One of my good friends who does locations, she's also a filmmaker. She got to shadow Eric LaSalle.
What's her name? Shout out.
Oh yeah, my friend Lauren Knox.
Shout out Lauren.
She got to shadow Eric LaSalle, and he even
let
her direct the scene.
Listen, the man. Listen. He does a lot of Chicago PD, Fire, you know, and people don't realize Eric LaSalle is a famous actor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was in a lot. I can't even think of some of his stuff, but when I saw his name directed, I'm like,
he's most known for Coming to America.
Right.
Daryl.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just let your soul go.
But no, he let her direct a scene. You know, while she was shadowing him.
What do you know? What film or what show?
It was PD.
PD. Listen, I've never missed an episode of Chicago PD or Chicago Fire. That's one of my favorite shows.
And I've never seen an episode.
Hey, listen, you selling yourself short, son.
I know, right? I gotta get to season 1 though.
I love PD. Never miss it. I've only watched a handful of Fire episodes. One of the ones I was on.
Okay, right.
And then I watch when I know like one of my friends is gonna be on.
Okay.
Yeah. You on Mid? Yeah, she was on. Oh, really? Oh yeah.
PD and Fire.
And look, those are my joints. I don't really watch Mid. I don't really care.
Do they? I know.
They do crossover.
PD and Fire do.
They all three. They all do crossover episodes.
Yeah. For Justice, I was on Justice.
Oh
yeah. Justice didn't last that long. Yeah, because nobody gets justice in Chicago.
I'm trying to find season 1 of PD.
It ain't on demand.
No, it's I got YouTube TV. It don't go back to season 1.
It's probably on Peacock, bro.
That's why I'm probably gonna have to check.
Yeah, Peacock. Hey, listen, that's my show, man. And look, and the reason why I was such a big PD fan before it started, right? You know, Leroyce.
Is he the black guy?
Yeah, Leroyce. Me and my boy D were at Alhambra Palace years ago, right? And he was with he got a cover band, and they just, they be rapping and doing other songs, full band.
Yeah.
You know, dude is a performer.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, at the end of the show, he was like, "Hey, I want everybody to look out. Hey, I'm just announcing it now. I got picked up to be on this show called Chicago PD.
Oh wow.
You know, check it out. It's coming soon. Yada yada yada." So I was looking forward to it when it came on. And we've been rocking with it since.
That's
you know
funny.
What I'm saying?
I went to a show in Rockford. When he performed. He was doing comedy.
Yeah, he was
doing comedy.
The dude is super talented. Comedy.
And he said the same thing you just said.
Yeah.
He said it when we was out there, but I didn't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But I seen him perform before.
Yeah, John. I was like, that's dope. And so I, just see him here and there. Hey, matter of fact, Leroyce, we trying to get you on the show, man. Come sit down with us, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you got a Harvey World connection too. Let's see what we can set up.
I'm sitting on the ice cream, bro.
Hey, you might. Hey, I don't know. I know they just started back filming. If you got some free time, we got something coming up. You might be able to come.
For sure.
Come be a guest set. You know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about
that. Details coming soon.
You know?
For sure.
But yeah, man, that's my joint. So let me ask you this. I know you act, music, behind the scenes. What's your goals? Like, what's something that you are looking forward to doing yourself? That like, what's on your? I know I got some goals. We talked about that.
Yeah.
What are some of yours?
Like two of my immediate ones are one I had during the pandemic. 2020 was a crazy year, man.
We know.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Nah, I at the beginning of the year I lost my mom, and
sorry to hear
that, bro.
Thank you. And it was like immediately after everything shut down. So right after we had our funeral, the world shut down. So I was like, yo, God, what are you telling me right now? What is going on? And it was, and then, shortly after that, my wife had, lost her aunt. And so it was just like, we were, like everybody was just like, yo, what is going on right now with the world? But it was such a time of like peace too, that it made me kind of focus on stuff that I hadn't been able to really do because I was always on the grind and trying to work and do this and that. So I had so much downtime from like March to August that I started focusing more on my creative side. So I wrote a short film that we're gonna be doing. We actually had started it a couple months ago, and we kind of had to shut down. But we're gonna be finishing it very soon. So I wrote this short film. It's very impactful. It's very timely, and looking forward to doing that. I started a production company at the time during the pandemic. Excuse me. Speaking of pandemic, I'm a little bit coughing. So my mom and I, some years ago, I wrote a book called Out of Cellar. It's a young adult sci-fi novel that we
Out of Stellar?
Out of Cellar, Empress of Nar. Okay. And it's about this young girl who's this intergalactic farm girl who finds out that she's a empress, and she has to save her planet from being destroyed by this thing called the sleep. So it's very, even though it's about the future, it's very timely to what's been going on right now with all of the violence and stuff.
So is the short related to that?
No. The short's totally different, but I brought up the book because one of the things we wanted to do before her passing was to get the second volume of the book out, because it's supposed to be like a Harry Potter series. And so my goal is to finish the next chapter and to get turn it into a film. Whether that's me doing it myself or selling the rights to get it made, because it's an amazing story. And so we wrote the first book. I kind of more so was an editor and kind of helped her with, because she wanted it to appeal to a younger crowd. But this was an idea she had come up with years ago, and she wanted to do it at the time as a radio
like story. Gotcha.
And so we finally put the book out. I helped her get it out independently. But so that's what I want to work on now. But I want to get the book out. Want to get Dave Hart Entertainment really up and running, and produce content under
What's that entertainment?
Dave Hart.
Dave Hart.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
DAVEHEART.
Yeah. Got you. I likes that, man.
Yeah.
I likes that, man. Listen, you got any questions, bro?
Oh man,
insightful.
He real insightful.
Man, and I knew that. Listen, man. Look, when I tell you, when I met this brother, you know what I'm saying. I remember when we was sitting down at the table and we all kind of bouncing ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying. It's something when you're around people that actually listening to what you're saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not just like, but like actually hear you. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was so smooth to work together, bro. I'm anxious for us to work together again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, like we got some things coming, man. We got some things coming. I'm writing a couple. You know, we talked about that the other day. I got a script I'm working on too. So man, wherever we can get in, wherever you see fit for me to be, I got you, brother.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you for like taking us inside. You know what I'm saying? Because like y'all say, nobody knows. I mean, not the average person knows like what goes on with finding a location to shoot. Even when you was talking about doing a propane and stuff like that, like a lot of people don't even think about. Like I never think about that stuff.
People don't think when you look at those credits.
Yeah,
bro, it's a
all the
lot of
names.
jobs. These budgets are there because you need people to do everything, and it's jobs all over the place. So you don't always have to be the actor. You don't always have to be the director. You don't always have to be the camera person. It's so many jobs that you can get yourself into if you're interested in this field and filmmaking. It's making. We all have to do it together. No one person can do it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. It's a collective, and that's what you get at the end of the day. So that's why you want these movies to be good once you go and see it, because so many people didn't work their ass off for it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Just one last question. I'm sorry. You done with music?
Man, you never really done with it. Like I definitely consider myself retired from recording music. Yeah. But you know, every now and then the bug hits me and you know,
spit some of them bars.
Right,
go jot something down.
But yeah, I haven't done anything, like I said, since rest in peace and shout out to my boy Harvey All Bangers. He produced a lot of our last stuff that we did, you know, going into like the early to like mid 2000s. But we did a tribute film to him called Shake Bag and a Six that my man Aztec De Niro put together, and that was like the last time I recorded some music. But you know, every now and then he'll send me some beats and be like, "Yo, you know, spit something to this." So you know, I still got stuff in my phone that I you know wrote. So it never really like truly goes away. But yeah, as far as like pursuing it seriously,
Big man, listen. You good? You got any other questions? I had one I wanted to ask. Like, you know, it kind of put me back. You when I say you see all these people on the credits and all that, you want to make sure the movie is good. What's something that you feel like you worked your ass off on and it was a terrible project?
You feel me? That's a great question. Hey, he wasn't ready for that one.
Man, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if I want to say that, but here's what I will say. There's
it's off camera.
I won't say the name of the show.
Okay.
I will just say it's a Netflix show.
Okay.
That came out a few years ago that I worked on, and it was just it was pretty bad.
It's based out of the city.
Yeah. No. Okay. It actually. No, funny enough, the show takes place in L.A., but we had to cheat Chicago as Los Angeles.
What? Really?
Yeah.
How the hell do you do that?
I know. That's one of the. Yeah. So you gotta look at. Yep. You gotta look and find locations that look like they could be in California.
Wow.
Which is very challenging.
I don't know where.
So listen, him saying that, right? It's a show. It's a show. Shameless, right? As towards the end of the seasons, they started trying to say it was Chicago, and I knew better, right? And I was like, and so to those location scouts in California that were trying to pass off them areas of Chicago, you did a poor job of cheating. You know what I'm saying?
We know our shit.
We know. Like, listen, I know I know the architecture. I know the corners. I know everything. You dig what I'm saying?
There's one other, and I won't say that. Don't guess, because you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There was we can talk about it off camera, but there was one other movie that I worked on. I worked on it for like a very short time. I scouted at the beginning of it, and I was so excited because he's a very big name director. And, you know, he's a GOAT legend.
Yeah.
But came out and everybody was like,
I know what movie it is.
Right, you already know.
I know it.
You already know. So I was just like, that was
I know
Going back
it.
to your
He wants to
question.
say it.
No, I know it.
Yeah.
We'll say
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it. We all know it.
Going back to your question, that was probably the one I was just like, man, because it was what was funny was we went to, they had a premiere for it here, and we went to it.
Is the ticket lines out there?
No, because this was like the first time anybody
saw it. Okay, so it was.
So we went to the premiere, and initially my name wasn't in the credits, so I felt kind of
slighted, right?
Slighted a little bit, but at the same time I was like, man, do I really want my
Like,
name?
listen, man, this shit trash anyway. Right.
So my name wasn't in the credits, but then when it actually came out, they had added my name in there. So I was like, oh.
Well, there we go. Well, you know.
So it was a little bittersweet, but
One thing I'll say about that film,
yeah.
at least he gave us some other greats. Put it that way.
Right. Y'all can put two.
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
I had to sit here and think for a second.
You know.
I think I know.
Yeah.
I think I know.
we'll
As
confirm
soon as it's cut,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
we'll see.
Yeah, we confirm. But
I
yeah.
might drop a hint or something before we get out of here. Let's check it.
Yeah, I almost been to say something.
You know what I'm saying? But you know one thing, so y'all, one thing that I, people joke, I'm a director and people joke, you know what I'm saying, I like to call myself Spike T, you know what I'm saying?
look,
So, no, what are you talking about? No, I'm just saying, because, my name is T, and that's what they be calling me Spike T, so, you know what I'm saying, like, that's all, what are you talking about, guys?
Joe, you didn't play
What are you
that.
talking about? I didn't say anything.
The
What do you
Kool-Aid.
mean? I don't know what you're talking about, guys.
I definitely don't know what you're talking about.
Right?
Well, since it's out there, I never got through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
People might not even still know what we talking about, but whatever.
You did. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Man, this has been great, man.
Yeah.
It's
Really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Man, Joe, like, this could scare some people too. Y'all don't know all that work. So you might get a
Here's
little
the thing. If you want a job,
intimidated.
where is so let's say they are interested, where's somewhere that they can go to kind of start looking at jobs for PAs and things like that?
Yeah, that's a real good question. So I know there used to be a site called Staff Me Up, but that was like if you're looking for jobs like all over the country. One resource I always tell people to check out is the Illinois Film Office.
Illinois Film Office.
Yeah, not the Chicago Film Office, but the Illinois, because they're two different things. But the Illinois Film Office, they have like a database that they keep of different professionals in the industry. So you can get listed in there even as a production assistant, and sometimes productions will use that as a resource to get crew members for things. Another thing you can look into is one of the main unions here in Chicago is the Local 476. That's the studio mechanics union. So that's hair and makeup people, that's craft service, the people that provide all the snacks and food. Who else is in 476? Your grips, electricians, set decorators. One thing, so you can't automatically just join the union. You have to put in so many hours, or sometimes get grandfathered in. But with the 476, I know they have a permit list. So like if you're interested in, let's say you want to be an on-set barber, or you want to do craft service or whatever, they have a list that it's kind of similar to the production guide. But what happens is if you get called in to work for a day or so here on a project, those hours start going towards your union hours. And the more that you do, you'll eventually get invited to join the union.
Yeah, because you get so many hours you can join, right? Okay.
And then once you join the union, you get benefits and health insurance and all of that. I'm in a different union. I'm in the Directors Guild. So Chicago is one of the only cities where location managers can join the Directors Guild. I think in other markets like New York or Atlanta, that's the Teamsters Union.
Okay.
Here, the Teamsters Union are the transportation guys, so the guys who drive the trucks and drive the vans. Those are all the Teamsters. So, it's different unions and stuff you can join, but the Illinois film office and Local 476, IATSE, IATSE, are good resources to look into.
I need to get myself in this director's guild, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I
Go
need to do.
for it,
You
homie.
know what I'm saying? I got some goals.
I think
You
you
know
should.
you know what's funny is I got in the Directors Guild on an indie film that I was a location manager on. And it basically, the production manager had, made the film. I think there's like certain paperwork you have to do to make your film DGA accredited, just like you would for Screen Actors Guild. So she put in that paperwork, and as a result, myself, the director, and her, because she was the unit production manager, all got grandfathered into the union.
Dope.
So it's nowadays it's a little bit easier to get in.
Okay.
I think for like assistant directors, you still got to put in so many hours. So you got to keep all your call sheets for all the projects you work on. You got to turn all that paperwork in. I think there's like production reports you got to turn in. So it's a lot of like paperwork you got to collect and keep.
Yeah. Showing proof, because that's the only real true proof of the hours that you've done. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, that's how you get in the union. But for that particular, job and entry.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, listen. Tell the people where they can find you. Any other gems you want to drop on them, what you got coming, or anything you want them to look forward to.
You can follow me on Instagram. That's what's his name. It's DATZWHATSHISNAME. That's a long.
For sure. Hey,
long name.
You'll see it. It'll come right up.
You can follow me on Facebook, David Leonard. Twitter, I think Twitter I'm DiCaprio, like Leonardo DiCaprio, except I spell it DCAPREEYO.
Fresh.
Look me up on IMDb. And it's okay if I plug my
Plug
podcast?
everything.
Okay.
All of it.
I also have a podcast. I gotta get y'all on.
Yeah,
there too,
man, we definitely coming. We family.
On the Series 33 and the Third podcast.
You and a couple of your brothers, right?
Yeah,
Four of y'all, right?
Yeah, me and my boy
Hey,
TJ,
shout out,
Drew.
the Reservoir Dogs vibe on that joint.
Yeah.
On they post. Hey, I pay attention, brother. I know,
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But keep going. My bad.
No, that's where I don't think I'm leaving nothing out. I got a couple movies that I did recently that'll be coming out soon. One is called Night Hunt. It's a horror movie about some vampires, and then another one called Roman that my boy Simeon Henderson did.
Yeah, I know Simeon Henderson. We're gonna get him on the show.
Yeah.
The Night Hunters. Who's some of the people in there? I think
Tiffany Curtis, Vonzel Scott, Simeon's in it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Ricardo Islas, who also directed it.
Is Renata in that?
No,
Okay.
no, Renata's not in that one.
Okay, because I know I saw y'all at something, you know what I'm saying? That's my homie. Shout out Renata, you know what I'm saying? You
Holding
did.
it down in ATL right now.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And facts, you got it, bro?
Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all like what y'all saw, please subscribe to the channel.
Share.
Comment. Share this joint.
Do all of it.
Hey, leave a comment. Share this joint.
You did.
You did.
When it comes to me, y'all know where to find me on IG, Chicago Outlaws, ChicagoUtlaw. The same O in Chicago is the same O in Outlaw. And if you want to follow us, it's the Facts and Law Pod Show. It's not a podcast, it's a pod show. You need to see this fly. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Hey, y'all know where y'all can find me on IG at I am Superfacts, and I'm not gonna spell that shit.
We got him one time.
Hey, you want to see some funny videos? You know what I'm saying? Follow your kid. You know what I mean? Y'all know what it is. Life is good.
I'm trying to tell you.
Look, we gonna catch y'all on the next one.
Yeah.
You dig. Hey, that was a